Good morning and welcome back to Vet Nurse Rambling. I am so sorry about the radio silence on here lately. It's been a really busy start to the year. I actually was in India for a month doing my yoga teacher training, which is really exciting. So completely different to what I'm used to doing. So I just haven't had the time or been out on my dog walks to start recording again. So thank you for staying with me. I've received some really nice feedback from a lot of people asking questions about nursing or wanting to know a bit more. And that's really making this worthwhile for me. So keep the feedback coming, keep asking questions, don't let your curiosity simmer down. It's always good to keep really kind of pushing the boundaries and trying to find out more about something that you feel passionate about. My email address will always be at the bottom of these videos, so please do get in touch and ask any questions that come into your head, and I'll do my best to help. So, sorry I'm a bit out of breath, this is quite a steep little bit of the walk. Kind of tying in what I've learned with the yoga teacher training to vet nursing, I just want to talk about well-being in the workplace. I feel like this is something that's becoming much more recognised by employers and something that they're taking a lot more care in as well. So first things first, never ever ever stick at doing something that doesn't bring you joy, that doesn't make you happy. Life is far too short to stick around in a job that makes you feel really stressed, really anxious, that you dread going to every day. There are jobs out there that you will be able to find that will make you happy. And unfortunately, no one else is going to do the hard work for you. No one else is going to find the jobs. It's up to you to go out and find them. So you've got to find your own happiness. It's really difficult because obviously there are lots of things to consider. We've all got bills to pay, we've got mortgages to make sure that we repay, we've got food to buy, we've got to keep a roof over our heads. So it is really difficult. We've got to look out for other members of the family and obviously ourselves as well. We do have to think about the practicalities of maybe taking a little bit of a pay cut to go to a job that's maybe slightly more rewarding. But ultimately, your health is your wealth. And if you feel that your job is causing you stress that's going to have an impact on your well-being and your health on a long-term basis, pack it in. It's just not worth it. It's really not worth it. And you've really got to think about what's right for you. So in the veterinary industry, obviously, it can be quite a tumultuous sort of environment sometimes. It can be quite high on emotions, can be quite stressful. There's a lot of unpredictability. So stress and anxiety in veterinary industry is quite high. And I think there are a couple of things that we can do as veterinary professionals and perhaps as employers, if you're watching, just to help reduce the anxiety and stress levels in the workplace, which ultimately is going to create a more productive workforce as well. So I think number one, in my opinion, just make sure I don't get run over by a bike, is being honest and open and talking about the way that you're feeling. If you work in an industry like the veterinary industry where you do have very emotional situations, so for example you might have a really sad case of a patient that's passed away and you're concerned about the owner's well-being and you're really worrying and you are grieving. Grief is definitely something that we all struggle with in the veterinary industry. It's definitely worth talking to someone about it, so don't hold it in, whether it's someone at home, whether you go home and talk to your partner or your parents or your family, just to offload the feelings that you're harbouring, or if it's maybe talking to someone at work. Some of the places that I've been locuming in have actually got wellbeing teams in place, which is fantastic, and that just means that you've got people that are allocated and kind of identified as someone that you can talk to if you're struggling or if you feel like you really need to just offload and vent and just get it all off your chest. So really try your best to talk to someone about the way you're feeling. Don't harbour it, don't hold it inside. All that will happen if you keep it in is it's just going to bubble up, causing more problems, and eventually you will reach breaking point, and that's just not healthy. You can't live like that for a sustained period of time. You can run on adrenaline maybe for a week or 2 or 3 or maybe a couple of months, but ultimately everyone burns out and it's not good when the come down comes. Perhaps a slightly more straightforward and maybe more obvious way to look after your well-being in the workplace, but something that maybe is kind of overlooked quite often, is really valuing your breaks. So everyone legally should have a lunch break if you've worked for a certain number of hours in that shift. And I think it's really important to not be afraid in that lunch break or the tea break or whatever time of day it is to take yourself away. You don't have to sit with your colleagues and make small talk and chit chat about stuff that's happening. It's perfectly fine to take yourself away, to have a few quiet moments on your own, maybe read your book, maybe just enjoy your lunch and be really mindful of what you're doing, rather than feeling the need to constantly keep up this act of being fine and happy and giggly and super smiley. It's okay not to be okay sometimes. And I think that the sooner we all start to grasp that concept as being normal, the easier it's going to be to deal with what's going on inside. I'm a real advocate for exercise and for healthy living. And obviously I love doing yoga. I find yoga is a fantastic escape. It gives me real peace and inner calm and stillness when I need it. And I think moving your body in any way, it doesn't have to be quick, even just going out for a really gentle walk is a really good way of just distracting your mind from what's going on. So on lunch breaks, you could take yourself outside and maybe go for a 10-minute walk. Just take yourself somewhere that's quiet, maybe try and find some nature somewhere, and just be really mindful of what's going on around you, breathing in the air and just feeling connected to that present moment, not worrying about what's happened earlier on in the day, not worrying about what might come in on the rest of your shift, just being really present and just really calm. And finally for today, I said it was going to be a short and sweet one, and to be honest, my hand's getting really cold. Finally for today, do something kind for someone else. It's amazing how much better that makes you feel and how much that can really improve your feeling of inner well-being. In veterinary nursing, or being a vet or a receptionist, or just working in an industry where you are looking after people and their pets, you are obviously being kind and caring the whole time. But maybe do something that's a little bit out of the ordinary for you. So whether that's maybe giving a stranger a hug if they look like they could do with one, or even just smiling at someone in the street, just doing these really small random acts of kindness is really going to help you feel good. It'll just make you feel good. And ultimately that's going to make your well-being and your sense of peace inside a lot better. So thank you very much for tuning in today and for being patient and sticking by me in my absence. Some of you might have found today's video a little bit more airy-fairy and hippy-dippy to what I normally talk about, and it is slightly different, but I think it's points that are really important to mention. We focus so much in the Western world on looking after our health. We eat healthily, we try and move our bodies, we try and keep nice and slim, but our mental health is just as important, and it's something that we really need to look after, particularly if we have a stressful job. So maybe just consider some of the things that I've said today, and just remember that your health is your wealth and you've really got to look after yourself. Thanks for watching, see you soon.